Welcome to The Difference. I'm Steve Castile, and today Anthony and I are having a continued conversation about our vision for the new hour. So stay tuned. Tune, tune, tune. Welcome back. You know, Anthony, it feels like ever since we've started doing this, we have a new vision for the hour. It's been like, oh, we don't have a building, or we don't have this, or we don't, well, it's COVID. Oh, now we're going. So,
Yep.
um, welcome to the latest iteration of new.
And it is, I mean, it's like the church. You have to constantly be reinventing yourself because we're in a very different world than 1971 when this program started.
Exactly.
And I wasn't even born. But I
Oh,
was born in 72. But this program started on radio and then became a television ministry, then became a nationwide television ministry, and then became not nationwide but Mississippi wide. And then we went nationwide again, and we were still doing radio. And then we went off of radio, and then we started going off of television stations due to the prohibitive cost. And then COVID hit, and we went off all the stations and started re-releasing and digging into archives, and then we had the brilliant idea, let's do audio again, and that's the world has turned into podcasting, and all overnight everyone has become either televangelists or podcasters, and in the religious sphere. And I'm just going to say this, that I love what we're doing right now. I love the conversations, and I think it's the most genuine that we've. There's no artifice, there's no fluff. We're
right.
just having conversations, and I think when people do tune in, those that are listening, the response we're getting is that they like those conversations.
They do. And I think the other twist that we've added, which is really my passion, is, you know, when COVID hit, we discovered everybody can do church on TV.
Right.
You can use your iPhone, you can do the other stuff, and the market was saturated. You know, it was just different. And so it gave us a chance while we were dormant for me to really begin to say, you know, the stories I want to tell are not stand up in front of you and preach, uh, but there are people out there doing good every day in the midst of this crazy world. And they're the people we want to talk about. And it's not just the folks in the nonprofit arena. I mean, our conversation last 2 weeks with you and Amy about the Institute and the cool things that are evolving and adapting here are just conversations that are not only fun, but people need to know about them.
Yeah, I think it's, and that was one thing that I always loved that we did with the hour over the years is highlighting the Bethlehem Center, or
Right.
highlighting Jim Moore, different things over the years.
Children's home, where
Yeah.
we at one time had our studio
Oh
for our
yeah,
show.
yeah. I mean, and we've done so many things like that, or Wells, or Wells Fest, or all the different things throughout the years. And these are good things happening, and we had a platform that we could share that, and
Right.
we still have a platform that we're able to have those conversations. But I love that it's a deeper dive. We don't have to cut away to a Sunday school lesson, and we don't have to
Right.
cut away to, we can really just have an in-depth conversation with the things that are important to us and things that we think will be important to other people.
Right. And I think one of the reasons we're going to talk about this for a couple of podcasts is one of the realities that came out of COVID, that came out of post COVID, and things that were happening in the United Methodist Church was a lot of these, both nonprofits and institutions, were kind of left, I won't say disenfranchised, but some of the income from a lot of the churches, some of the income from the annual conference. There were just so many things going on that now uh, there's not that central voice where you'd go to annual conference and you'd hear from all
Right.
the different groups, the camps, the stuff,
The
and
power of we.
and so the exactly.
Yeah.
And now it's it's just a different world.
Well,
And
Steve, we went from 1,500 United Methodist churches
when I came in, yeah,
to 400 and something now,
less,
and
yeah,
that just changes the infrastructure, and everybody's picking up the pieces and trying to see, well, what is the path forward? So budgets are not the same, mission
right,
shares are not the same. There are organizations that are left out
right,
who had some support, and that's the biggest thing that I miss is I was thinking about last annual conference how we were seeing the in memoriam, and it was so much shorter
right,
because we weren't hearing about the folks who had left our communion, who had left our fellowship, and that was it was a sad moment for me because I'm thinking, look at all these people we've interacted with all these years who've been family,
right.
and and this program with still having a voice, I think there's a way that we can still connect with some folks and maybe get the good word out, because not everybody's interested in the same things I'm interested in, or someone might be interested in Jim Moore's crusade about helping with those in recovery and picking up the pieces through his bicycle work. I mean, I
Exactly.
guess he's the spokesperson.
Yes.
But anyway, but
Literally.
somebody may respond and connect with that and really say, I want to plug into that. There may be other people who are interested in art or something that,
Right.
and say, hey, how can I plug into that? That's the cool thing about we have so many people that we know, so many connections and friends of the ministry for all of these years that I'm looking forward to future conversations. I was thinking of names earlier when we were talking of oh, that's a person we can feature,
Hmm.
and we have lots of good things coming up.
And I think that's, there's so many dimensions to this that we're both excited about. One is we're not tied to a sense that you're tuning into us to hear worship. What we hope you're listening to is creativity. And for you and I think that's one of the most sacred things that
Mhm.
God has given us is this ability to create for those who are doing good, to create hope, to create opportunities for changing the pathways of different lives, and then artistically, the creative genius that is bringing so many different media and elements of creative energy for us to share with people. Everything from music to movies to art. It's like people have given us a full, not just a art, but a department store. To go
Right.
back to an old image, we've got a lot of floors, we've got a lot of departments, we've got places we can go, and it still all fits under this roof of of the difference.
We have blue light specials. Uh,
Exactly. Just not flashing.
no, they're flashing. But looking at from the very first verse in the Bible, creation happening.
Yeah.
God is the ultimate creator, and how can we not celebrate creativity? How can we not? I mean, the act of being co-creators with Him, whether that's through parenting, whether that's through carpentry or whatever it is, or just the life that you are crafting, cooking, all of these arts, anything that takes something and makes something beautiful.
Hmm.
That's that lights my fire, and I think that's when I feel closest to the creator is when I'm creating. I
Yeah.
really do.
Well, and I think that you and I both have this passion for the creativity of storytelling. And I think that part of what makes our podcast unique is that we try to do it in a storytelling format of helping people to understand that the artists to create this art also have a backstory that brought them to the place that allows them to express themselves in the ways they do. That the people who are doing good had a pathway or a call that led them into the ministry or service that they're doing for the good of the kingdom. And we get so much joy about kind of unearthing those stories, of weaving them together and helping people understand that when we come and say, hey, you need to support Edward Street, we're not just saying send money. We're saying listen to this story.
Yes.
Listen to what they're doing. Doesn't that inspire you to some way want to be involved?
Well, and when people, Steve, when people think about, okay, they're asking for money, um, and we've got great partners that have been so faithful over these years, and I'm just so humbled by so many wonderful people who have been generous that way. But your story that you resonated with you so much with Stone Soup,
Mm-hmm.
that idea of, yes, this person may bring their money. I don't have money. Maybe I can bring my talent, and maybe I can bring this for the soup, and I can bring this. And after a while, you've got this beautiful, let's southernize it a little bit. You've got this beautiful gumbo going on,
There you go.
and it becomes something more and more rich and spicy and wonderful the more that people are sharing, and the more people are sharing, the more we have. And it's not just about money. It's about bringing who you are, bringing your personality, uh, your gifts and graces, and the things that God has blessed you with. I think sometimes we may have a listener or something that is maybe older and on a very fixed income, and they say, "Well, I really I can't afford to give." Well, maybe you give through prayer,
Yeah.
and you seek out those stories of folks that you want to lift up, and and I believe God blesses that. So it is, yes, about it takes money for the world to go around and to make things happen, but it's also about just a generous spirit of wanting, and it's not selfish to want to be involved in something creative and be involved in a process. There's room for a lot of people to come gather around that pot and put ingredients in.
Well, it's not only that. It's I was looking back through our backlog of podcasts and I was thinking, wow, this is more like a potluck supper where there's so many different kinds of dishes, and each week there's a different conversation, and it's not the same. And what's been cool for me, selfishly, is that with every time we do a podcast, I add something else, a new taste to my palate, or a new color to my art palette, and it's this sense of I like the depth and the richness and the breadth of the stories that we've been telling. And as you said, of the stories we're going to tell. I was talking to Brian earlier about an appointment we have to go to Galloway and to meet and do a podcast there on their foundry. And it's a homeless ministry, which also has a backstory. It used to be the conference office when I was there, and the conference sold it to Galloway in order for them to use it downtown for a homeless ministry.
Right.
And the person who's the director was the children's director who kind of went away and came back with a new call to work with homeless people. And she's a little bitty petite thing. It's just such a only God makes up those kind of stories and weaves them together, and we get to share them with people.
Yeah, that's a, and and Steve, all of our listeners have a story.
Yeah.
I've been. We have a lot of entities. We have a lot of things going on. So our Institute for Southern Storytelling, we have the YouTube channel for that and all, and we posted our Walter Anderson film. And I've been we posted it a couple of months ago, and it's had 5,000 or 6,000 views. And this is we have 140 subscribers. I mean, this isn't a big channel, but people are watching that, so that's fun. But reading the comments and saying this made a grown man cry, and reading how people are, how if I'd never heard of this artist, it's a beautiful, inspiring story, and people are connecting with that. People respond to stories, and I love seeing the response of folks. So
Hmm.
I encourage folks, when you um, hear a guest, or you hear something we're talking about, or you have an idea or something, that you'll comment and that you'll message us and
Right.
and let us know what's going, because you have a story too. And um, we I can't tell you how much we enjoy hearing those things and
Exactly, and
reading.
how we become a part of your story. It's so different than appointment TV. I was thinking about this as we were getting ready for this. In appointment TV, we would get back the numbers of the number of people who turned on their TV and watched the shows and how many in the viewing audience. The cool thing about social media is we can have real time interactions and conversations. And nobody has to pick up the phone and call. You just go in the comment line and say, "Love this," or "Have you ever thought about this?" or "I know somebody here." And that's really one of the calls with this new vision is, in order for us to do the kind of storytelling we want to do, we need you to interact with us. We need
To
you to
share it.
kind of engage the story, to
Yeah.
share it, but also to let us know what are some stories you want to tell. Because as many connections as we have, I have a sheet 3 pages long in a long notebook of people I would love to have on, but that's just me. You have just as many. The
Hmm.
people who are watching have some, and there's probably some stories that we would never get to if people don't take time to make the comments.
Have you been marking anybody off your list?
Yeah, I have. I have to confess, it's the sad thing at my age is I mark them off because they're gone,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can't go back and get them.
Exactly. I'm experiencing that as time goes on. You just lose folks, but you know, my list gets longer and longer because God keeps putting
Hmm.
incredible people in our
Hmm.
paths, and that's what I love about social media. There's a lot of junk with all of that, and there's a lot
Right.
of landmines that I try to avoid with all of that. And you can get down rabbit holes on all kinds of junk. I don't post political things. I don't post I post paintings, and I post
Right.
bragging on kids or our kids or whatever. Um, those are the kind of things I want to see. I love when a family is celebrating something that their son or daughter has done,
Hmm.
and used to we would interact with folks, but I'm getting to see these things and cheer from afar. But how many times do people come up to you and they know all about you? I mean,
Exactly.
when we were on television, we would have that experience a lot. But people will come up and say, "I love the things you've done," and I have to ask them, "All right, what are you talking about?" Because they may be talking about the hour. They may be talking about something with Mississippi College. They may be talking about a film or a TV series we've done. Um, but our field of influence has gotten larger because of social media,
Right.
because of those connections. And so I'm very thankful for all of that. And I think as you and I are trying to figure out this vision, figure out this path forward, as we've always tried to do, we're not the sharpest pencils in the box, and we're trying to figure this out, and we're not media marketers and all of this kind of stuff. We like good stories, and we want as many people to be able to participate and experience and benefit from that. Uh, but I think we're starting to see that more clearly, that we can have events. We've got some of that in mind, and we're so excited about that. We love events, but also there are online events. There are ways people can participate sitting on their couch by the
Right.
fire and still participate. And we hope, as we move forward and we are rolling out some of these new ideas, these new visions, that people will that you'll be listening for that, you'll be watching for that, and respond and let us know what you're thinking.
Yeah, and I think, as we finish this episode, in the next episode, I want us to walk through where we are now, because we have pushed out our content on several social media outlets. And yet, as I was thinking about these conversations we're having, we haven't really kind of specifically laid out for people, where do you find our content? What are we
Right.
doing? What's coming next? How are we going to use those in order to continue to tell the stories? And so, one of the things that I want to say is, as we kind of talk about the vision, is the podcast is a creation in itself, but what we ultimately want, what our real core value is for people to be free to be different, and then to find a way to make a difference in this world. We love likes and clicks, and we're going to ask you to do that in the next episode. But what we like even more is when we hear back from somebody and say, "Hey, I went to Edwards Street, and I'm now volunteering on a certain day to help them restock their food pantry."
That's great. Yeah.
Or, "Hey, I had never really drawn, but as I was listening and thinking, I picked up some colored pencils, and I began to kind of experiment, and it really felt good." Those we want you to engage, not only in listening to us, but taking what God is giving you and creating what He called you to create.
Absolutely. And we talk a lot about storytelling. I know next week you've got a great story to share. So I'm excited. I hope people will continue to tune in. And I know this is a whole lot of housekeeping
Right.
kind of stuff and talking about vision. But it is that important to us that we are thinking through what we're doing. And not just, hey, let's do another interview.
Right.
We are thinking through and trying to, we love this ministry, this program, this history, and we can't bear to let it go. I think there's too much. And my biggest thing is, you and me becoming friends, 2009, when you started doing the United Methodist Hour.
Yeah.
2009, and that has just been a delight for me. And who knew that? I know people have workplace friendships and all, but who knew that my closest friends would come through the hour, all these years ago? But it really has, and it's just been a wonderful thing. And then watching my worlds intersect, a few weeks ago we had John Anderson, Walter Anderson's son, and John is just my brother. He lost his brother recently. I've lost my brother, and he said, we're the only brothers we have now. And how beautiful is that? And watching my worlds kind of collide, it's just all about good stories and good news. And that's what the Bible is. That's what our lives should be. And if somebody says, "Oh, here comes so-and-so, and he's always cranky," and if that's what people think of us, we got to get a hold of that, because we're supposed to be telling a story with our lives too. And if that's the story that we're telling, I have to keep reminding myself of this.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's a delight to look ahead and to dream with you. If nothing else, selfishly, we have fun doing this.
we do.
And, if you can't sense that, then we're not doing a very good job of projecting. And so what we're going to do is invite you to our next episode. Next episode, I want to kind of talk to you, share a story with you, and then lay out exactly what our strategy is to walk towards this vision of how we're trying to not only adapt but build this bridge as we go across. So we hope you'll tune in to our next episode. And as always, hey, live loved.
You've been listening to The Difference, a presentation of The Hour. The Difference is made in conjunction with and partnership with the Institute for Southern Storytelling at Mississippi College. To find out more about the Institute and ways that we are partnering and mentoring young lives through storytelling, filmmaking, and more, visit us at southernstorytelling.mc.edu. And for more resources from the Hour and from The Difference, check us out at our Hour Stream platform with the streaming content at thehour.org. I'm Anthony Thaxton. Thanks for joining us.